What's up, guys? Coach Nate and Coach Alex of the Run Experience here, excited to talk about how to train and qualify for the Western States 100-mile run and not die. You didn't die, did you?
Didn't die. No, survived it.
Francisco, California, finishing Western States in 20 hours and 26 minutes. This is Alex Ho.
So, Alex, let's get right into it. How did you get into Western States, and how does anyone get into the Western States 100-mile run?
Yeah, so I was one of the lucky ones. I got in through lottery this year. This was my 5th year entering the lottery, and so I had 16 tickets. Every year you get the double amount of tickets. So the first year you get 1, then 2, and then 4. So I had 16 tickets to get in, and my name got pulled on the day of the lottery, and I had a bunch of texts on my phone, people calling me, telling me I was in. It's a super exciting day for us ultra runners.
To get in, because Western States 100, it's like the Super Bowl of the 100-mile runs. It really is one of the bigger ones out there.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest 100-miler in the US. It's really hard to get in. Before it was easy, you just apply, you get in, but now it's become so popular, so competitive, that they only have 369 spots, and a lot of those go to sponsored athletes or athletes who win races. And so really there's only about 270 or so spots for just the general public. And you have to qualify with a 100K or a 100-mile race, and then you get tickets, and then you get in through that.
Oh my goodness.
And I think there are about almost 5,000 people that applied this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the 100-mile race that you did in preparation?
So last year I did the Bighorn 100-miler in preparation for that. And so that one was fun. That was a different race. It was really tough. It was really rainy. Through mud for 15 hours. So, but quite different than the Western States this year.
That's cool. Now I saw a photo of your Instagram of like a giant boot that said something about the last race you just did, or do I have that correct?
Yeah. So the last race, the Bighorn, if you come under 24 hours.
There's like boots and belt buckles for these things.
Yeah, so any 100-miler, usually you get a belt buckle for the finish, which is awesome. And then if you go under 24, usually it's either a different belt buckle, but for the Bighorn, it was called the Silver Spur. And so they give you this plaque with a boot, and yeah, it's just very Wyoming, style.
Wyoming, I love it.
Yeah.
So Alex, how did you train for the Western States 100-mile run? Because it is such a long distance, it's such a big thing. Like, how far ahead were you thinking about it, and what went into it?
Yeah, so I got the notification in December that I got in. The race is in June, so I had a good 7 months to really think about it. But one of the keys with the hundreds is you got to stay healthy. So I didn't really start training until about February or so. I did the Boston Marathon as a training run to work on my speed, because there is a lot of downhill in Western.
I saw you out there on the course.
Yeah.
Well, Holly and I were shivering our butts off.
Yeah, that actually it's when I started kicking it in when I saw you. Yeah, it gave me a little boost. But then after Boston, after I got my speed down for the road, I transitioned to trails and started working on a little bit more hills and elevation. And unfortunately, I had some shin issues going on, so I wasn't able to get the mileage that I wanted to. But
that's a super common problem with ultra runners, right? Where they see this program, they said, I need to run all of this, but you kind of made the decision, it sounds like, to stay healthy over just try to get all this mileage in.
Yeah, and that's the balancing act. It's that fine line of how much do you hurt, like what hurts, and where do you push and where do you not. So I chose to, I'm more of a low mileage racer as it is, because I'm on my feet all day for work. So I chose to keep it low and just go for like some really targeted runs, get my long distance runs in. And I didn't really do as much speed work as I probably should have, but it's a lot of it's mental.
Speed work in 100, I mean,
yeah.
Just speed walking.
Speed walking, power hiking. Power hiking is huge. Practice that. Yeah.
That really is a thing.
Yeah, one of the best things you can do is become a fast power hiker. And you find that in a lot of the hundreds are, very hilly, climbing a lot, so you save energy by power hiking.
Power hike up, run down.
Exactly.
Love it. Now, I know you guys are really gluttons for punishment when it comes to these 100-mile things, but what was one of the hardest parts of the Western States experience for you?
For me, it was the heat. It gets 95, 100 degrees out there. I think it was above 100 down in the canyons.
Wow.
And living out in San Francisco, we're used to this 55, 60 degree weather where we don't get that
extreme temperature.
Yeah. So for me, for training, I had to do a lot of heat training. Running long distance with a lot of clothes on, a beanie and gloves.
But it doesn't start hot.
It doesn't start hot. No, it was maybe like 50 degrees. And you're going up the hills, the sun rises, so it's beautiful, and it's in the mountains. But it gets hot very quick.
So you're seeing a 40 or 50 degree gradient throughout the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it lasts throughout the night. I mean, even through the night, when I finished at 1 a.m., it was still probably 75 or 80 degrees out.
So what were some of the things that you did to cope with the heat, or maybe that you wish you had done better to cope with the heat, looking back on this experience?
Yeah, to cope with it, I had some equipment. So I had a hat that, could carry ice in it.
Okay.
So every aid station, I would put ice in my hat.
Not just a regular hat?
Not just a regular hat. It was a hat like with an extra layer that cinched up, so you could actually put ice in it. And it held, which is nice. I had a handkerchief that I sewed a pocket on, stuff ice in it, and wrap it around my neck. And then I had arm sleeve that you shove ice in your arms.
Wow. So you had ice here, around your neck, basically at all kind of major blood flow areas.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that helped a lot. I never really felt hot above my waist, but I think my legs kind of got beat up and started cramping a little earlier than I wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, never want to.
Yeah. How about fluids? How was were you able to drink enough, and what type of things were you drinking?
Yeah, fluids were good. I kept mostly to water, actually. So I used a handheld, and then I have a waist pack with soft flasks in it.
Yeah.
And so I had, my handheld, a 17-ounce soft flask, and then another 7-ounce soft flask on me. So I had fluids at all time.
Mostly water, and
mostly
then would
water,
you supplement with that with any?
And then I had a lot of goos. For me, I use goos every 30 minutes on the diet. It just keeps me consistent, keeps it simple for me.
Yeah.
And then at the aid stations, whatever.
You're getting some electrolytes and goos as well.
Yeah. So the goos, I had all the Roctane, so it's a lot of electrolytes. And then if I ever felt I needed more, then I would get salt or anything else at the aid stations.
Yeah. And if you were to do it again, would there be anything that you would have changed with your your hydration or your heat management setup?
I might have tried to drink a little bit more. It never really felt like I was that thirsty, but the heat setup was pretty good. I think more heat training.
Heat training.
More heat training during the training period. Yeah.
I gotcha. Now, these 100 miles really are journeys, especially when you are out there for 20 hours running like you were. What was your most favorite part of the race day? And then also, what was some of the more surprising things that may have happened that you didn't expect?
Yeah, most favorite part was probably the first 30 miles. The start's always very exciting. Yeah. You start off and you just go straight up Squaw, the hill, so it's like a 4-mile incline. So it's not fast. It's a lot of fun. People are cheering you on. You get to see the sunrise in the mountains. Never beat it.
Oh, man.
And it's just gorgeous. The course is gorgeous. It's a little more technical. I'd never run that part.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite part. And everyone's feeling good at that point. There's not much suffering going on. Everyone's happy.
When you're in 100-mile shape, that first 50K goes like this.
It does. It goes quick. And then... Yeah, I think the most surprising thing was just how early my legs started cramping and just dealing with that. It was almost 50 miles of my legs cramping every time I tried to run uphill.
Yeah.
So, 100 milers, you got to work with it and you got to just change your strategy. So I knew my A goal was out the window, so I just focused on getting from aid station to aid station and power hiking as best as I could and then just dealing with it.
Now, you didn't pick up a pacer as early as you could have, right?
No,
you could pick up a pacer as early as mile
62.
Mile 62, and then you picked one up at 78.
I picked one up at 78. Yeah. So that was a decision on my part. I enjoy doing these mostly solo or running with the people in the field. That's just my personal preference, but when I did pick up my pacer at 78, it was the perfect timing. It was right as it was getting dark, and he really pushed me to run as much as I could in that last bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, he got me in there a lot faster than I probably would have gotten myself. And so that's what a pacer's good for.
Yeah.
And he's just, you know, kept the mood up, kept me laughing.
Yeah.
He's a good friend.
That's good. If you're laughing at that point, you're probably still in not the worst spot.
Yeah, my crew was mentioning, they were saying how happy I was in the last 20 miles compared to the previous 20, so he was doing his job well.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about the more surprising parts, the more difficult parts of the day, how you got into the race. With all of this work and effort into it, and maybe the race still fresh in your brain, would you do it again?
I would, yeah. If you would have asked me right after the race, or 2 days after the race, no, but 5 days after, I was like, if I could sign up for next year, I would do it again instantly.
Oh my goodness.
It's quite an atmosphere. It's such an experience. Because it's the oldest race, everyone comes out, everyone's cheering. It feels like it's almost like a road marathon on the trails. That's how much crowd support.
Because that's just how much support and everything you get. And you know, for those watching who have that Western States bug and they want to get in themselves, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, keep running, keep qualifying. You got to keep those tickets up. They just instituted a new policy to where you can actually skip a year if you want. So that's good, especially, you know, it's for women who like get pregnant or if you get injured, which is great.
But to keep qualifying with tickets, you have to be running 100K or 100 mile.
100K or 100 mile, and they have a list of all the qualifying races, but you know, they're all fun. Go explore. You know, it's taken me all over the place. And it's fun. You know, you got to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, clearly we have different definitions of fun, Alex.
Yeah, we probably do.
Good job, man! Good job, bro! Good job!
Hey, if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you have any comments or questions, drop them down below.
There we go. And if you want to follow Alex's training or even, you know, work with him, hit that link down in the description because you'll be able to get access to all of his great stuff. And of course, speaking of great stuff, you got to be subscribing to our channel as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got videos on ultra training, marathon, injury prevention, nutrition, run form, 5K workouts, everything you need to be a better runner. We got something. Hit that guy, hit that little alarm bell so you get those notifications. And we're gonna keep filming here, getting a tan this beautiful Bay Area day.
Great sun.
Totally.
Watch the whales.
We had whales earlier, so we're gonna see if there's more whales.
Yeah.
But we'll see you guys in the next video.